Welcome to Built to Win, the podcast created to help you level up your business game by developing a success mindset made for the long run. In this episode, Neora's Dave Fleming talks with Silver National Marketing Director Jill Chisholm, who tells us how her previous experience as an entrepreneur prepared her for a successful career with Neora, how the setbacks she experienced were actually a blessing, and why she's so excited to help others find their success journey too.
Welcome back, everybody, to Built to Win. I am bringing a very special guest to you today, a friend of mine that I've known for a few years now, Jill Chisholm, that we met through Neora and who has grown an incredible business there. And beyond building an incredible business, just an incredible person. She's got a great life history. She's done a lot of really cool things in her life. And Neora is just one of them. But for those of you that, or for those of our listeners that don't know who you are, Jill, take a second just to introduce yourself. Like, who are you? Who's the puppy behind you? Who's the, who is Jill Chisholm?
Keeping it very real. So first of all, I am so honored to be on here. I've never done a podcast before, so very exciting. One of the things on my bucket list. So I basically was raised by a single mom, very entrepreneurial family. She was a hairdresser and an esthetician, and dad owned a marina, but our mom brought us up, and we really didn't have a lot growing up. So my mom was always someone who just preached to my sisters and I, like, if you want something, if you want it bad enough, you're going to be willing to work hard enough to go after it and not really care what other people think. And that stuck with me. I loved horses. I wanted to do shows, and it was like mow lawns and shovel snow and do things to make the money for that. And that really stuck with me. I have three sisters that went to college, graduated top of their class. I was like the little black sheep that couldn't pay attention in college, was looking at the hair color in front of me. And I bartended and waitress, but I knew I wanted more. I knew there was I was meant for more. There was something in me that was like, I know I'm supposed to do something great in my life. I just didn't know what it was. And I loved animals. So I actually went to school for dog grooming. And when I got out, nobody wanted to hire me. So I was like, heck, I'm just going to open my own business. How hard can it be? And I heard about on the West Coast about these mobile dog grooming businesses. So I decided, why can't it be on the East Coast? So we get snow and we get below zero. But I kind of had this whole story behind that. Anyways, I had it like in the phone book, and I never even had the van, and it was a mobile business. And a year later with like 100 clients, my clients were like, you're never getting a business, but it actually came to fruition. And that really taught me so many lessons in life. Because I remember literally going to like 20 banks and every one of them sending me the decline. Sorry, at this time, we can't fund you any money. You're too young. You have no collateral. This has never existed. And that taught me such life lessons, even though I remember the last bank sending me the letter. My father was connected to him, and I got that, sorry, not right now. And I just remember being crushed. And I was like, nope, I am doing this. I just remember my mother saying, if you want something and you want it bad enough and you're willing to work hard enough for it, you'll get it. Never give up on your dreams. And that led me to multiple other things. And but it all landed here. And I feel like all of these things were meant to prepare me. And I think about so many people in life, like your trials and tribulations are just preparing you for the next journey, right? And it builds you to be a stronger person. So you almost have to be thankful for the hard times. So in a nutshell, yeah, it's been an amazing ride. We'll just say that.
Yeah, that is a great adventure. And I love what you said about, you kind of being grateful for the challenges. We've talked a little bit about that before on Built to Win. Can you think of, I don't know if you have a specific example. Obviously, going to banks and getting rejection letters is not fun. Can you remember like a turning point where, you're in your business and you're going through it and you're like, you know what? I did it. Like, I've arrived. Like, this is like, you turn the corner on it.
So when I started this, I owned weight loss clinics. And when I started it, I only looked at the company because my friend had come to me and she was a client. And the third time she came to me, I said, "What part of the no aren't you getting? I don't wash my face. I'm also the mom of a blended family of 5 kids." So I was crazy busy. I owned 2 weight loss clinics. I didn't wash my face. I'm sorry for any estheticians that are listening right now. But my mother wouldn't even want to hear that. But bottom line is, I looked at it to tell her not to get in because I thought she didn't know any of the pictures. I thought it was all a scam. And when I realized it was real and people were making money, that was the other key point. I just felt like this was something I could bless other people with. So owning businesses, like in my dog grooming business, everyone that worked for me opened their own business. Then when I owned my weight loss clinics, people were like, this would be a great business. They would open their own business. So I was very good at duplicating myself and kind of shooting myself in the foot, creating my own competition. And when I
Hmm.
saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, I love helping people win, even to my default at times, but I love seeing other people succeed. And when I saw this, for once, I was in a good place. And, where I was like financially, I felt like I'm in a good place. But my sister was widowed. My mom was retired broke. She gave the shirt off her back, and that's why, but she didn't really have any retirement. And I just thought, wow, she got me with a picture, and I don't even use skincare. Like, this is such a simple system. And when I was ready to hit this level of silver marketing, national marketing director, all I looked at was everybody in my organization, and I went to everybody and said, "What do you want to do?" I want to hit a car bonus. I want to hit a six-figure income. I want to hit this. And it was focusing on all the people running for their goals is how I hit mine. And
Hmm.
that to me is like, that's the biggest joy. Not that I'm allergic to money in any which way. And I have big dreams. I want my villa in Italy. I want my beach house in Florida, maybe not on the beach after everything, but I want things. And why not? Like, it's okay to dream in life and build memories and be able to travel with your family and build memories in those places. But when that happened, there was such a joy of everyone else succeeding that it was like, this is what God prepared me for. And it was the passion of helping other people succeed. It is what drives me every day. Like this morning, first thing, I was on the phone, and a woman that had life hit her, and she was in, and then she kind of fell back. She just couldn't even function. She had lost, she had cancer, and she is back running. And she is so excited that every day I'm on the phone with her and she's telling me things that drives me. It's
Yeah.
not about the financial piece. I mean, it really isn't. It's by default that comes. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. And we've heard people say that before. Like there's more to this business than the money. The money, like no one's going to turn down the money, obviously. Like no one's sending those checks back. But there's more to it. And I'm curious because you came into this like very entrepreneurial, owning your own businesses, owning your dog grooming businesses, weight loss clinics. What you kind of mentioned one thing already, like kind of the difference between like helping somebody succeed in that business, kind of turn them into your competition
right.
versus this business, it turns them into like teammates that you get to run together. Are there other things from those businesses, from being an entrepreneur that have helped you in your Neora business?
Oh, 100%. Well, and I did do another company for 10 years. So,
Okay.
and the other company was financial services, and someone helped me. I had my money in a sock in my mattress because that's what all Italian people do when they grow. I thought that's where everybody put their money. But so that opened my eyes up, and in that company, I did it for 10 years, and I really I gave it my heart and soul. And to be honest, I gave it too much of my heart and soul. Like I lost sight of what was important. And I'm not proud to say that, but I really bought into give us a period of, be uncomfortable for a period of time to be comfortable for a lifetime. And
Sure.
I had such a dream to be able to buy my mom a house. Like that's been a big driver for me. And after 10 years and truly leaving things that were forever memories to go close a sale or do things, I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking about? I swore I'd never do the industry again.
Yeah.
And one reason was I didn't know how to really build a team. I just ran after the sale. And in this company, when I saw it, because I kind of had the cross up, like I will never do this industry again. I really everybody came to me and I was always like, shoot him down. Like don't even. And
Hmm.
when she came to me with this, that's the first thing I said is not interested, but I may want to buy that product if it works. That
Yeah.
was my mindset. But what I saw was she got me with a picture and I wasn't even a skincare user. And what I learned doing financial services was people buy what they want, not what they need. Like it was pulling teeth to get someone to save for retirement, which is kind of important. And they want to buy a night cream and they're like, I'm in, even though I have like no money to do that. I want it. So I saw the simplicity of it. And that piece was like, that's where I thought I can help others. But it was really, especially right now more than ever, we have such a cookie cutter system. I feel like in the beginning we were kind of figuring it out. So we're a little bit winging it, shooting from the hip, trying to figure out the system because the company was new. But now it's so fun because when someone comes in, it's like, okay, A, B, C, let's go. Let's have success. And it's if they do what they need to do. So it's that was such a it was such a turning point because I knew here I really feel like it's the system works and it's you don't have to be a guru to do it. Like I am not a college graduate. I get very easily unfocused. Like I'm like, okay, what was the question you just asked me? So I can get lost in my own stories. But but this was so simple. I was like, wait, anybody could do this, right? And that was the piece where I thought I can truly help people and build something, build them more than, yes, build a team, but I can help that individual who really wants it if they're willing to get out of their own way, no matter where they're from or what their situation is, they can have success here. And that piece is the piece that I think I learned from the other company of keep it super simple. Like don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that's human nature. It's so easy to complicate things. It is very difficult to keep things simple because I think the brain is like, it can't be. It can't be that simple. It's got to be more complicated than that.
Right.
And so you kind of naturally do that. But I'm really curious because you were at another company. You were familiar with direct sales. And then when you saw this, you were like, don't do that because like it can't be real. So I'm really curious because I think a lot of people really resonate with that. People see stuff and they're like, don't do that. And we joke sometimes like there are two kinds of people in direct sales. There's the people that said I would never do that, and there's the people that say I would never do that again. And
True.
and so I'm really curious, like, so you saw something and you talked about like you always it was the picture, but you can't build a company on a picture alone. What made you say, okay, this is different, and then this is worth doing, and to do this again, even though you said you would not do this again?
Well, first of all, well, we're sitting in the same spot that really got my brain rolling. So when I first saw this, and it was only, I wasn't the company wasn't brand new, right? It was about a year old. But in the other company that I was in, I always talked to the people that were the big income earners. And I
Hmm.
would say, what is it? Like, what did you do? But what I realized is they were all in the company within the first 15 years.
Mm.
Some of them a little under 20. And I felt like, wow, they were in the first 15 years. And this was only a year old. And I thought, nobody knows about this product. Like, could this possibly be happening? Could I possibly be in the right place at the right time? And that what if? So I was also married, and it wasn't, let's just say it wasn't a healthy marriage. I'm now a very happy single mom. So I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. And part of me was like, you can't fit anything else in here with 5 kids and 2 businesses. But what if? What if not only I could have success, but what if this could be the ticket for my mom? And what if this could be the ticket for my sister? And what if this could be the ticket for my girlfriends that were like, oh my gosh, like hate that my kids want to do this sport or could excel and I can't afford coaching. And it was like all these things were like pouring at me. And I just thought, what if you don't do it and it's real? And that piece, and I've had this crazy thing 3 times in my life. I've had this like overwhelming. I am a woman of faith, and I've had this 3 times where it was like, you're supposed to do it. With everything in me, I'm like, I don't know why. And it was like one thing led to another thing, which put something in front of me. And it was like, you're supposed to go. And when I go, there's only one go. It's full tilt. It's fifth
Mhm.
gear. There's no put my toe in the water. It's jumping with full feet, with both feet. And now we're looking at. I mean, I'll be in the company 13 years, August 15th, and I am more excited on this run than I was when I started because this isn't first to market in a space of a crowded space. This is first to market of a product that's never been done. It's ground floor round two. And that piece, like we have people popping bonuses and ranks all over the place that have been in the company dabbling for years or just saw it that never wanted to look at it before. And it's that piece of like, wow, how did we get so blessed to be here in this
Yeah.
in this company in this timing right now? And I feel like that more than ever right now.
I agree 100% with that. I think that this is definitely an inflection point for Neora. Probably the the best thing to happen to this company since the launch of this company. And that was a significant event 14 years ago. Um, I'm curious. So you've been in the business 13 years now. Um, every business has ups and downs.
Hmm.
What would you say? What would you say? Well, kind of a two double-sided question for you. Like, what is the hardest part of the business, and what is the best part of the business?
The hardest part, I think, is when you see people with potential and they really have everything it takes, but something is holding them back, right? Something is a chain around them that they can't break through. And you see their gifts, right? Like you see they're a born leader or they're fun to be around. They're a person of influence. They have such a good soul, like they want to help others. And you see what they could do here. And for what they don't work on themselves. I think that's the key. Like they don't have belief in themselves because someone's knocked it out of them, or maybe they were in a bad marriage. And I can tell you, I learned to work on myself harder than anything else because I had a force pulling me down, trying to pull me down, and it was like someone was pouring dirty water in a glass, and I had to keep putting clean water in to flush the dirty water out. That's the best way I can explain it. So I had to do self-improvement. I would get in my car and be like, talk to me, like get this out of my brain and get positive in my brain. So the hardest part is you see the greatness in people and they don't see it in themselves. The best part is the person that didn't see it in themselves and they do break through the chains and they do start giving you they go by blind faith and they're like, all right, I am going to start doing 10 minutes a day of self-improvement. I will listen to this. I will plug in. All right, this is hard, but I'm going to try it anyways. And you see them like blossom and grow. And then you see them affect other people, and you're like, doesn't that feel good? Like it's that piece that, and they turn into someone that they always were. They always had it. But this is a company that truly pulls the greatness out of people. And now they're shining when they had it, but maybe people didn't appreciate it or didn't see those qualities, right? I mean, I've had people say to me, like, you know, I'm a college dropout. I was a bartender and waitress forever, right? And it was like, what are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do with your life? And I know there's people out there that are like, I know I was born for more. Like driving around, and I remember driving and I would take rides through nice neighborhoods or, along the coast. And I think, what does people do? Like, how do they
Yeah.
have a Lamborghini and an Aston Martin in their driveway, and they live in this amazing house, and that house isn't even used because they only use that house for 2 weeks. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like they have the same 24 hours in a day that I have, right? And that used to boggle me. Like, I don't get it. Like, why, what's different between them and me? And it's a vehicle. It's
Hmm.
you. It's what you want and what you're willing to work hard enough for and believe in. But it's the vehicle. And I love that this industry gives people hope. In this industry, and not just this industry, this company. I need to be specific on that because there's a lot of companies in this industry that are
Yeah.
struggling, right? Or they're changing their comp plans and rugs are being pulled out from underneath people. Or like the other company I did, you had to get licensed and you're working with all kinds of very important things and paperwork. And I was like, oh gosh, that stuff was so not me. In this company, really, it's so simple. It's easy to do, it's easy not to do, right? As Jeff Olson says,
Hmm.
our
Yeah.
founder. But it's one of those things where if someone will just try and walk in a little blind faith and give it a chance, truly give it a chance, not, well, I'm going to talk to 10 of my girlfriends, and if it doesn't fly by them, but does the system, I believe anybody can have success. Anybody. And I love that. I love being able to share that with people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I love that aspect of this business that there are no prerequisites, right? You do not have to come from money. You don't have to be a college graduate. You don't even have to speak the language as your first. Like I know people who come to
Right.
the US, the English is their second language and they become wildly successful. So how do you do that? Like and you've done this with your team. Like there are a lot of people on your team who have reached heights and done things that they didn't, I suspect they didn't believe was possible for themselves. And so I'm really curious. I'm always really curious. How do you help somebody take that first step, like that leap of faith, like you just mentioned? Like is there a secret to that, or is it just Jill Chisholm being Jill and that energy that you bring, and people are like, okay, I'll do it because you believe in me, it, or is there more to it?
I think that's a huge piece right there. Right? Is seeing, I always say I look at people in two ways. Because you also can't let the outcome bother you. Because there's so many people that have so much potential, but we can't build our business on potential, right? So many people also get so locked on that, but this person knows so many people and they have such an influence, but they don't get out of their own way. And I'm like, you've got to look at everybody kind of like you see the greatness. So when I hit this milestone of NMD, we used to have these giant, like, I don't even know, they were 8 foot long checks. They were giant, maybe 6 feet. And we walked across the stage and you held it up. And I see everybody when they start holding the check up and walking across the stage and like tears pouring down my eyes and cheering them on. And I see that. But I also see like they're not going to get out of their own way. So I better go talk to more people. Because maybe this isn't the person, right? But
Yeah.
I see that I see that vision for everybody, and I think finding out what people want. Like it's not about what I want and it's not about what I see. But when I sit with people, it's what do they want? Like in all honesty, I wanted to buy a house for my mom. But when I started, I wanted new furniture. Like I had 5 kids that destroyed my couches and the cornstarch that my daughter put all over her brother one day. I was like, that's it. That is it. I'm getting new couches. And I thought the little vision in my head was, what if I don't make a lot of money in this company, or it isn't everything that what if factor of if it could be that great. But what if I can share it with people and we can all kind of make a couple hundred extra dollars a month, $300 extra month, $100 extra month, 500 extra month. And I thought, if I made $300 extra month in 2 years without like, or even a year without taking money from the family pot, I could buy new leather couches. Like that was my vision. That was my like little vision. So,
Yeah.
but someone told me, you're going to make it to 6 figures. You're going to sell your weight loss clinics. I'd be like, okay, you're like, you're crazy. Seriously, I wouldn't have, if that was what they were telling me, it maybe would have like taken me off track. Thank you for believing in me, but yeah, I don't believe that because I know who
Mhm.
that happens to in companies, and I'm not that person. Like, because everybody doesn't believe it can happen to them. I really believe that too. Like, yes, they believe that their friends will want the products, and yes, they believe they can make money, but to make 6 figures in a company, that's that's crazy. Like in this company, what I love is you didn't have to be in the first year. This people, we have a girl that started in February and she made almost 10,000 by after her first full month. Like who does that? Like I just remember hearing the woman that I spoke to initially and I asked her how much money she made because I was like, let's just get right to it. I don't know you. I don't care. But how much money did you make last month? Because I'm kind of a forward person. And
Yeah.
and I didn't want to waste my time. And I think that was another God thing. He's like, we better give her someone that's making money. And,
Yeah.
and when she said she had made $6,000 in her 6th month, I thought, wait, what? Like, okay, I know what it takes to make that money. And my business has owned me. I had to worry about people stealing. I had to worry about the insurance and headaches and what if someone came out with something greater than what I had? And it was stressful. And
Mm.
she sounded so peaceful and sweet. And I'm like, wait. I even asked her, this is how, so for the skeptics listening to this, I called her at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I didn't even think she was in Oregon to ask her what time it was there. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. And I asked her if I could have the breakdown of her checks because in case she was lying. And she said, well, I could, but I would have to get my computer out. And I said, oh, no problem. I can wait. And now I think I'm like, oh my gosh. But but truly it's like this is something that anybody can do it, right? It's that piece that it's real. They don't have to be in the beginning. They have to follow the system and it works.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm fascinated by this. Like even within yourself, like you always believed that there was like you were destined for more, you wanted more, and yet you're still thinking it's not me. How I'm really interested in how that thinking shifted. Was it a milestone you hit in your business and you were like, okay, I've done that, so that must be me? Or was there a time where you were like, okay, no, and you kind of like mentally shifted to believing that that could be you?
Well, so I grew up with a mom and we were like struggling. There was points when she was struggling to keep our house. I saw her be an entrepreneur. I saw her do other jobs. And then my dad, who I wasn't close to growing up, owned a marina and had nice houses and but so I saw entrepreneurial ends on both ends, right? Very successful, not as successful. And I just thought when if I the dog groom business really it was so many odds put against me. honestly. Like being 24, having no income, but having a vision, never first person in the Northeast to even think of building this. It was kind of a pipe dream, but I had that like, you're going to do it feeling. And that kind of created this, well, wait, all the odds were against me, but it was a system. And the people on the West Coast that had them were successful. So if I can copy what they did, my vision was I can have what they have, right? And maybe not as much because maybe people won't pay for it in the winter. I don't know, but it's just a proven fact. Why do people buy franchises, right? They buy franchises because of a system. They
Mhm.
pay 200, 300 millions of dollars for a franchise for a system. So to me, I'm like, why am I going to buy a franchise? The businesses I owned were never franchises. It was just go be a great copycat. And it was the same with the weight loss clinic. I had people say to me, what do you know about losing weight? You've never been heavy. And I was like, yeah, well, the system works, so it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
either,
Right.
and I wasn't afraid to talk to everybody, like that piece. So when I didn't believe, because it was like we all know the end. Well, we've heard of people in the industry, and I guess you just put people on a pedestal, right? Like you put people on this, like you compare, which we all know is the thief of joy, right? So
Mhm.
I always tried not to compare, but I always had my mother in the back of my head saying, if you want something bad enough and you believe in yourself long enough and you work hard enough, you'll get it. And whether it was money for a horse show class or it was going after a business, I think that piece was like, well, wait, here's my little vision if it doesn't fly, but what if? Right? What if in the energy that what my energy and my vision, I saw it evolve and I just thought, holy smoke, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like it really was because it was the success of it. And not everything was successful. Like the first person I went to was my sister. She was with another skincare company. She was not happy when I called her and said, I found it. I found it. And she was like, you found what? I'm like, I found a business. We can do it together. I'm telling you right now, something big is going on here. I can feel it in my soul. And she said, what is it? And I'm not sure if she hung up on me, but she might have when I said, it's a night cream. She was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? She's like, I've been with this company for 6 years. You've never bought anything from me. You wouldn't join me. And you're going to be my competition. And I was like, no, there is no competition. This stuff works. And I think that's when she hung up. So, but the thing with that was I didn't care. I wanted my sister in the business with me, but it wasn't about what other people said because that was already ingrained in my brain. I've already been knocked down, knocked down, knocked down trying to build other businesses. And when I knew if I bought people's words, I bought their lifestyle. Or I bought, I didn't care. I really didn't because when I believe in something, it's like it's a numbers game and it's about finding the right people, right? And that was every scenario. It was, I mean, you could have been like 90 pounds and 5'10". I was telling you about my weight loss clinic. And when I told you about it, I was like, hey, obviously you don't need it. But everybody knows somebody that struggles with weight. Or if I saw you and I was like, oh my gosh, I just started this mobile dog grooming business, even though I didn't have a van. I was like, everybody knows somebody that wants convenience that has a pet. If you know anyone, here's my card. I mean, I literally went to parks and talked to anybody walking a dog. They're like, it's not my dog. I'm like, whatever, give it to the person who wants the dog. So I didn't, rejection, I'm not going to say it doesn't bother me. It bothers me, but for like a half a second because
Mm.
I know the people that want it don't have like a big magic marker on their forehead that says, I'm the one, talk to me. But I know they're out there. So it's just a numbers game, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been outstanding. This has been a really, really inspirational conversation, and I really appreciate you kind of diving into some of the more personal aspects of the business. And I would love, like, last question for you. We'll kind of wrap it up on this one. But for somebody who's looking at this or a business like this one, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them about getting started?
Well, one, if you're listening to this and you have a dream and you haven't fulfilled it, like buying my mom a house. I was finally able to do that with the thanks to this company. Um, I was not in a healthy marriage, and I was able to stand on my own two feet, but to thrive, not just survive. But if you're listening to this and there's something missing, right? There's just something like there's I just feel like sometimes life's going by. Like it's mundane. Like it's another day. It's another day. There's another day. There's got to be something more that to life. And I've talked to so many people that it's purpose. It's not money, and it's being able to bless someone else or achieve things you've never thought you could achieve in those milestones. So my words of advice to anybody is be coachable. Like I did that other company and I did it my way. Yes. And I wasn't coachable. And if you've done other companies or you've owned businesses and they haven't been successful, that doesn't define you. That helps mold you into the person you're going to be, right? Because you learn from your mistakes. So be coachable and work on yourself. Yeah, you need to talk to people. And yes, it's a numbers game. But what makes you strong is what you put in your own mind. It's your mindset, it's your vision, it's your belief, right? It's
Mhm.
what's in your heart. And people can't steal that from you. Like people may have stolen other things from your heart, and they have in mine, but I didn't let that define me. I let that make me stronger. And I've watched that with people with loss, with illness, where they were kind of taken out of the game, but they decided that they weren't going to be taken out of the game. And they built that stamina back and came back and grew. So my message is believe in yourself more than anyone in the world believes in you. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself every morning, every night that you are filled with greatness and you can do anything because you have someone up above that's prepared you for all of this. And you have a system and you have so many people in this company that will love on you and guide you and help you, and you'll get there. Everyone's time frame might be different, but it is impossible to do this business and not have success if you keep going. So don't quit. I don't care how long you've been in or you've been in this industry or whatever. Just keep going and work on yourself harder than you work on anything else.
I love it. I love it. Jill, you're great. I love this was fantastic. Really, really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. Um, thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and your the personal insights. I think it's super, super valuable. So appreciate it. Thanks for being on.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored. Really, I'm so grateful to this company and everything it's brought into my life and for you and other people. So that the leadership, I just can't thank you enough. So thank you for everything you do.
All right. Well, we appreciate you and we appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. And for everybody out there listening to Built to Win, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
That was Dave Fleming talking with Jill Chisholm about how a leap of faith has turned into a successful career with Neora. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you learned something from it, please share it with a friend or colleague who you think would also benefit. And if you're new to Built to Win, we invite you to go back and listen to our story from the beginning. You can find us wherever you download your favorite podcasts. And while you're there, please rate us and leave a review to let us know what you think of the show.